In today's world, where sharing every aspect of our lives has become second nature, we often overlook the value of discretion, reflection, and silence. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that teaches the pursuit of wisdom, virtue, and inner tranquility, offers a different perspective. The Stoics, renowned thinkers such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, emphasized the importance of what we choose to reveal and what we keep within. By embracing the wisdom of Stoicism, we can navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and clarity. In this video, we'll discuss 10 subjects that the Stoics advised us to keep private. Why? Because not everything in life is meant for public consumption. Some things are best left unsaid, cultivated in the quiet chambers of our minds, where they can grow and flourish without interference. By protecting these aspects of our lives, we maintain our inner strength, avoid unnecessary distractions, and focus on what truly matters, our character and the pursuit of a virtuous life. Each of these subjects offers valuable insights into the Stoic way of living. So, stay with us until the end to discover how guarding your inner world can lead to a life of greater fulfillment and authenticity. 1. Your next steps. Why reveal every move in life when silence holds power? The Stoics believed in the power of discretion, especially when it came to future plans and ambitions. Just as a chess master does not reveal their strategy to an opponent, why should you share your every intention with the world? Consider this. By discussing your next steps, you open yourself to the risk of judgment, criticism, or even envy. How often have you seen someone announce a bold plan, only to falter under the weight of others' expectations or skepticism? In a world obsessed with external validation, the Stoics taught that true strength comes from within. It is the inner theater of the mind, not the public arena, that determines our confidence and resolve. When we choose to keep our future plans private, we reinforce our sense of self-sufficiency and independence from the fleeting opinions of others. This silence does not represent weakness, but rather reflects a profound inner strength, a commitment to nurturing our goals away from the distractions and influences of the external world. How does secrecy strengthen our resolve? When we choose to share our goals with others, we often seek their approval or encouragement, consciously or unconsciously. While support from loved ones can be valuable, it can also create a dependency on external validation. Stoicism encourages us to build our internal compass, a guide that is not swayed by the ever-changing tides of public opinion. When you keep your ambitions to yourself, you allow your inner strength to grow undisturbed, giving you the resilience needed to follow through on your plans, even when faced with adversity. In ancient Stoic teachings, humility was seen as a vital component of wisdom. Revealing our grand strategies or plans for the future can sometimes be perceived as boasting or as a cry for recognition. The Stoics, however, advocated for a quieter path. They advised us to proceed with determination and purpose, letting our actions speak louder than our words. Are you ready to embrace this path of silent perseverance? Why does revealing your next steps make you vulnerable? Life is unpredictable, filled with events beyond our control. When we disclose our plans prematurely, we not only expose ourselves to the judgment of others, but also make ourselves vulnerable to circumstances that may thwart our intentions. By keeping our goals private, we shield them from the whimsical winds of fortune and allow ourselves the flexibility to adapt to change without the added pressure of living up to others' expectations. Stoicism reminds us to embrace the idea of amor fati, or love of fate, recognizing that we cannot control everything that happens. When we keep our plans to ourselves, we acknowledge the uncertainties of life and prepare to meet them with equanimity. The wise person, according to the Stoics, navigates life not by announcing their course to everyone, but by staying true to their principles and adapting their path as needed. By choosing the path of discretion, we strengthen our character and create a space for our goals to grow in their own time, free from the distractions of outside opinions. In doing so, we follow the Stoic tradition of focusing on our inner development rather than external approval. Silence empowers your journey, allowing your actions to speak for themselves. 2. Your moments of solitude. What is solitude if not a sanctuary for the mind? To the Stoics, solitude was not a void to be filled, but a sacred space where the mind could retreat and rejuvenate. In the stillness of solitude, we find the freedom to contemplate life's deepest questions without the noise and distractions of the outside world. Why then should we feel compelled to share these moments with others? In our current age, where every moment is documented and displayed for public consumption, the concept of valuing solitude may seem counterintuitive. Yet, it is in these quiet moments that we encounter our true selves. It is in the silence that we come to understand our thoughts, fears, and aspirations with clarity. The Stoics viewed solitude as a powerful tool for self-reflection, an opportunity to examine our character and refine our values. Do you value your moments of quiet reflection as much as you value your time spent with others? How does solitude shape our inner world? The constant pursuit of external engagement can pull us away from our own minds, leaving little room for introspection. When we embrace solitude, however, we allow our thoughts to settle, much like mud sinking to the bottom of a still pond, revealing the clear water above. In this clarity, we see our lives with a renewed perspective, unclouded by the influence of others. The Stoics taught that true tranquility arises from within. It is not something to be found in the company of others or in external circumstances. By keeping your moments of solitude private, you preserve the purity of these experiences. Sharing your reflections can dilute their significance, making them susceptible to external interpretation or judgment. Why not keep these moments sacred, allowing the insights gained to shape your character in a way that is authentic and deeply personal? Why is solitude a space for true self-examination? Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the value of solitude. He saw it as an opportunity to connect with his inner guide, to evaluate his actions, and to prepare himself for the day's challenges. When we embrace solitude, we follow in the footsteps of great Stoic thinkers who used this time not to escape the world, but to engage with it more deeply. It is in these moments that we can ask ourselves, am I living according to my principles? Am I on the path of virtue? The Stoics believed that without regular self-examination, we risk drifting away from our values and losing sight of our true purpose. Solitude provides a sanctuary where we can realign our actions with our beliefs, without the need for external validation or the influence of other perspectives. In the quiet of solitude, we discover the most profound truths about ourselves. 3. Your achievements. Why seek applause when true fulfillment lies within? In a society where achievements are often displayed for recognition, awards, and validation, the Stoics presented a different approach. They believed that true fulfillment comes not from public acclaim, but from the quiet transformation of the soul. The value of an accomplishment, they argued, should be measured by its impact on your character and its alignment with virtue, not by the applause it may draw from others. Consider this. When you discuss your achievements with others, do you seek validation, or do you aim to inspire? The Stoics cautioned against allowing ego and pride to cloud one's judgment. By sharing your successes openly, you risk becoming attached to external approval, which is transient and ultimately beyond your control. How often do we measure our worth by what others think, rather than by the quiet knowledge that we have lived according to our principles? What happens when you detach from public recognition? The Stoics believed in the concept of living according to nature, which includes accepting that some things are outside our control. Recognition, praise, and admiration fall into this category. When we depend on these external factors for our sense of accomplishment, we place our happiness in the hands of others. Stoicism teaches us that by focusing on our inner virtues and the integrity of our actions, we find a more lasting and stable sense of fulfillment. Furthermore, when we choose not to speak of our achievements, we allow others to notice our qualities without self-promotion. Have you ever met someone whose actions spoke for themselves? This silent display of character is often more powerful and genuine than any spoken word. The Stoics understood this well and valued the humility that came from quietly fulfilling one's duties and pursuing excellence without the need for acknowledgement. Why is humility a pathway to inner strength? Humility is more than just modesty. It is a recognition of our place within the broader context of life. For the Stoics, humility involved acknowledging our limitations, understanding that our successes are often the result of circumstances beyond our control, and focusing instead on the virtues we cultivate. Are you prepared to let go of the need for praise and embrace the deeper satisfaction that comes from a life well lived? When we refrain from discussing our achievements, we prevent ourselves from becoming trapped by the chains of vanity and pride. This detachment from external approval empowers us to act with integrity, regardless of whether our efforts are noticed or celebrated. In a world where recognition is often sought for its own sake, the Stoic approach offers a profound reminder that true greatness lies in living according to our highest values, regardless of who is watching. In the quiet pursuit of virtue, we find the deepest sense of fulfillment. 4. Your deepest dreams. Are your dreams fragile seeds or enduring pillars? Imagine your deepest aspirations as rare and delicate seeds, held carefully in the palm of your hand. These dreams represent your most profound desires, the goals that give your life purpose and meaning. Should they be exposed to the harsh elements of skepticism, criticism, or even envy? Or should they be cultivated in the quiet recesses of your own mind, where they can take root and grow strong? The Stoics, understanding the power of self-sufficiency, saw the wisdom in keeping one's dreams private. It is not because they viewed ambition as something to be hidden, but rather because they recognized that the pursuit of meaningful goals is a deeply personal journey. Have you ever felt the sting of sharing a cherished goal with someone, only to be met with doubt or discouragement? By protecting your dreams from the opinions of others, you ensure that they remain untainted by external negativity. Why do our dreams need protection from the outside world? When we share our aspirations with others, we invite their judgments, opinions, and doubts into our inner world. These external influences can weaken our resolve or even cause us to abandon our goals altogether. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, choices, and actions, while allowing the outcomes to unfold naturally. By keeping our deepest dreams private, we retain control over them and shield them from forces that may attempt to sway our determination. Moreover, when we speak of our dreams too soon, we may gain a premature sense of accomplishment simply from verbalizing them rather than from taking real, meaningful action. Have you ever noticed that talking about a goal sometimes diminishes your motivation to pursue it? The Stoics understood this tendency and encouraged us to act first, allowing our efforts to bring our dreams to fruition rather than relying on words to generate enthusiasm. How can you nurture your ambitions silently? The Stoic approach to ambition emphasizes humility, patience, and resilience. By nurturing your goals in silence, you give them the space to grow at their own pace, without being affected by the judgments of others. When you focus on the steady progression towards your dreams, you build a strong foundation that can withstand the challenges and setbacks of life. In Stoicism, self-reliance is a crucial virtue. It empowers you to find fulfillment in the pursuit itself, rather than in reaching the end goal. When you learn to appreciate each step you take towards your aspirations, you cultivate a resilient spirit that is not easily discouraged. This resilience becomes the cornerstone of a life well lived, where the journey holds as much significance as the destination. By protecting your dreams, you give them the chance to flourish in their own silent majesty. 5. Your doubts and uncertainties. Are doubts chains that bind you, or doors that open to growth? We all experience moments of doubt and uncertainty. It is a natural part of the human condition. But how we choose to handle these moments can significantly impact our journey towards wisdom and tranquility. The Stoics advised against constantly sharing our doubts with others, not because they believed we should ignore them, but because revealing them can make us vulnerable to external influences that may not be helpful. When you speak openly of your uncertainties, do you seek reassurance from others, or do you aim to confront them head-on? Stoicism teaches us that confidence is not an outward expression, but an inner light that guides us through the darkest of times. Constantly revealing our doubts can weaken this light, subjecting it to the turbulent winds of opinion, which may only serve to extinguish it. What happens when you harbor doubts silently? By keeping your doubts to yourself, you allow time for deeper reflection and personal growth. The Stoics encouraged introspection as a means of understanding the root of our insecurities. When you confront your doubts internally, without relying on external validation, you strengthen your inner resolve and cultivate the ability to remain steadfast in the face of adversity. Stoicism reminds us that self-examination is crucial to overcoming life's challenges. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about using reason to examine his fears and uncertainties, breaking them down to their core components. Have you taken the time to question your doubts, or do you let them overwhelm you? When you look closely, you may find that many of your fears are unfounded or exaggerated, and that by addressing them within the privacy of your own mind, you gain clarity and strength. How does modesty protect the spirit from unnecessary exposure? Sharing your doubts with the world can strip the soul of its dignity, leaving you exposed and vulnerable. Modesty, in the Stoic sense, serves as a shield that protects the spirit from this exposure. It is not about hiding from others, but about choosing carefully what and when to share. There is wisdom in recognizing that not every thought or feeling requires an audience. Some matters are best resolved quietly, allowing the soul to grow stronger through silent contemplation. When you exercise discretion in sharing your doubts, you preserve your inner tranquility. You cultivate an inner sanctuary where you can retreat to examine life's complexities without fear of judgment or ridicule. This space allows for growth, understanding, and the cultivation of a deeper sense of self-confidence. The quiet contemplation of doubt leads to the revelation of inner strength. 6. Your good deeds. Does true kindness require an audience, or is it enough to act with virtue? In a world where acts of kindness are often shared for recognition or praise, the Stoics offered a different view. They believed that the highest form of generosity does not seek an audience, nor does it require acknowledgement. True kindness, they taught, is motivated by a genuine desire to do good, with no expectation of reward or recognition. Have you ever performed an act of kindness without telling anyone about it? How did it make you feel, knowing that you did something virtuous without the need for external validation? The Stoics argued that by sharing our good deeds, we risk diluting their value, turning them into spectacles rather than genuine expressions of virtue. When we act with the hope of being seen or praised, we shift our focus away from the virtue of the act itself and towards the fleeting warmth of applause. Is your kindness sincere if you share it for the sake of recognition? Why does anonymity in good deeds matter? Anonymity in acts of kindness allows us to engage in self-reflection and examine our true motivations. When no one else is watching, we have the opportunity to question whether our actions stem from a sincere desire to help or from a need for approval. This internal dialogue, encouraged by Stoic teachings, serves as a catalyst for self-improvement, guiding us towards a more virtuous life. By keeping your good deeds private, you honor the purity of the act and uphold the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature. You become a source of quiet light in the world, much like a candle that illuminates a dark room without demanding attention. It is the silent warmth of your actions that matters most, not the praise you receive in return. How does kindness elevate your character? The Stoics placed great importance on the development of character, seeing it as the foundation of a virtuous life. When you perform acts of kindness without seeking recognition, you build a character that is resilient, humble, and aligned with the principles of Stoicism. You learn to find satisfaction in the act itself, rather than in the approval of others, thus strengthening your inner resolve. True Stoicism is reflected in deeds that elevate humanity, guided by values such as justice, compassion, and wisdom. When you practice kindness without the need for acknowledgement, you contribute to a more compassionate world, while also nurturing the tranquility of your own soul. Is this not the true essence of virtue? Kindness, when offered in silence, becomes a timeless gift to the world and to oneself. 7. Your resentments. Is holding on to resentment a path to freedom or to self-imposed chains? Resentment is like an anchor that keeps the soul bound to a specific place and time, often preventing us from moving forward. The Stoics saw anger, grudges, and bitterness as unnecessary burdens that weigh us down, clouding our ability to think clearly and disrupting our inner peace. When we cling to resentment, we allow it to take up space in our hearts and minds, leaving little room for tranquility and growth. Are your resentments keeping you from reaching the serenity you seek? The Stoics taught that resentment is a form of self-imposed suffering. By harboring negative feelings toward others, we give away our power, letting their actions dictate our emotional state. How often have you replayed a past hurt in your mind, only to find that the pain persists, even though the event is long over? Stoicism encourages us to let go of these toxic emotions, for they only serve to consume our well-being and trap us in a cycle of negativity. How does forgiveness act as a key to liberation? Forgiveness, according to the Stoics, is not merely an act of kindness toward others, but a profound gesture of wisdom towards oneself. By choosing to forgive, we release the chains that bind us to past grievances. This act of letting go frees us to pursue a life of greater harmony and inner peace. Have you ever experienced the lightness that comes after forgiving someone who wronged you? This feeling arises because forgiveness is not just about absolving another person, but about releasing ourselves from the grip of resentment. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful actions or allowing others to repeat them. It means acknowledging that we cannot change the past and instead choosing to focus on what is within our control, our reactions, our thoughts, and our future. When we stop dwelling on old wounds, we reclaim our freedom and redirect our energy toward more constructive pursuits. Are you ready to free yourself from the burden of resentment and embrace the path of tranquility? Why does resentment persist if we understand its harm? Resentment often arises from a sense of injustice, from the belief that we have been wronged and that the world owes us compensation. But Stoicism reminds us that life is not always fair, and that holding on to anger only harms the person who carries it. The Stoic approach encourages us to adopt a broader perspective, to recognize that people act according to their nature, circumstances, and limited understanding. By seeking to understand the origins of others' actions, we may find that what once seemed like malice was, in fact, ignorance or a reflection of their own suffering. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In other words, to let go of resentment and choose a different path, one of forgiveness, understanding, and peace, is to free ourselves from the destructive influence of others' actions. The more we practice letting go, the more resilient and untroubled our spirits become. Let go of resentment and embrace the freedom that awaits you. 8. Your unlearned lessons. Are mistakes the end of the road or the beginning of wisdom? Mistakes are a universal part of the human experience. We all fall short, make errors, and face setbacks. But what matters most is how we respond to these moments of failure. The Stoics viewed mistakes not as signs of weakness, but as valuable opportunities for growth. They believed that each failure presented a chance to learn, improve, and strengthen one's character. Yet, they also advised that we should be careful about sharing unlearned lessons with others. Why? When we speak openly about our unlearned lessons, we may inadvertently create an image of ourselves that centers around failure rather than progress. There is a fine line between acknowledging a mistake and becoming defined by it. Stoicism teaches us to confront our shortcomings in a private, reflective manner, allowing us to learn from them without the weight of external judgment. Have you taken the time to understand the lessons hidden within your mistakes, or do you let them define you? How does private reflection lead to meaningful growth? The Stoics encouraged a practice of regular self-examination, where one would take the time to evaluate past actions, behaviors, and decisions. This process was not meant for public display, but for personal development. By keeping unlearned lessons to ourselves, we create a space for honest introspection. We can ask ourselves, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? Without the pressure to explain or justify our actions to others. This quiet contemplation allows us to uncover the deeper insights that arise from our mistakes. We can transform setbacks into stepping stones by analyzing them calmly and rationally. The Stoics saw life as a continuous journey of improvement, where each failure was merely a part of the larger process of becoming a better person. How do you approach your mistakes? Do you dwell on them, or do you use them as catalysts for growth? Why is there dignity in keeping unlearned lessons private? When we choose to share our unlearned lessons too openly, we may invite judgment from others who do not understand the full context of our experiences. Stoicism teaches that not all failures need to be displayed for the world to see. There is dignity in silently acknowledging our shortcomings and working to overcome them. This approach helps maintain our inner strength and allows us to emerge stronger without the added burden of external scrutiny. It is important to remember that the process of learning from mistakes is an internal journey. Each individual must confront their errors in their own way and at their own pace. By keeping this process private, we respect the sacredness of personal growth and allow our character to develop in a way that is authentic and aligned with our values. Treat every mistake as a new beginning and let your actions reflect the lessons you have learned. 9. Criticism of others. Does judging others uplift your spirit or erode your own character? It is easy to criticize others, to find fault in their actions, and to point out their shortcomings. But what do we gain from doing so? The Stoics believed that engaging in criticism of others was a distraction from our own growth. By focusing on the faults of others, we divert our attention away from our own development, missing valuable opportunities for self-improvement. Criticism can create a sense of superiority, where we feel better about ourselves by highlighting the mistakes of others. But Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from working on our own character, not from belittling others. When we criticize, do we genuinely seek to help, or are we simply trying to elevate ourselves at the expense of someone else? How does criticizing others reflect on our own virtues? What happens when we turn our gaze inward instead? The Stoics emphasized the importance of working within our circle of control, which includes our thoughts, actions, and responses. The behavior of others lies outside this circle. Therefore, it is a waste of energy to focus on things beyond our control, such as the actions of other people. Instead, we should concentrate on cultivating our own virtues, correcting our own faults, and living a life that aligns with our principles. By refraining from criticizing others, we practice the Stoic virtue of empathy. We recognize that everyone is dealing with their own challenges, which we may not fully understand. When we choose to extend compassion rather than judgment, we not only strengthen our character, but also contribute to a more harmonious world. Do you find yourself criticizing others often? What would happen if, instead, you used that time to improve yourself? Why does focusing on others' faults hinder your own growth? Criticism can be a form of avoidance, where we shift the focus away from our own areas for improvement by highlighting the flaws in others. This behavior can prevent us from seeing our own shortcomings clearly, thereby hindering our growth. Stoicism invites us to be brutally honest with ourselves, to look inward and ask, "What can I do better?" rather than, "What are others doing wrong?" Marcus Aurelius advised that we should never be quick to judge, as we often do not know the full story behind another's actions. He encouraged understanding and patience, recognizing that we are all fallible and in need of compassion. By turning our attention away from others' faults, we free ourselves to work on our own development, thus becoming better versions of ourselves. Focus on your own growth and let others walk their own path. 10. Your deepest plans. Are your deepest plans best shared, or should they be kept close to your heart? We all have goals, ambitions, and plans that shape our lives and give us a sense of direction. However, sharing these plans prematurely can expose them to doubt, criticism, or even envy from others. The Stoics believed that discretion is a strength and that there is wisdom in keeping our deepest plans to ourselves until the time is right. Have you ever shared a plan too soon, only to feel discouraged by others' reactions? When we share our plans openly, we may also feel a premature sense of accomplishment, as if verbalizing the goal brings us closer to achieving it. But Stoicism reminds us that true fulfillment comes not from talking about what we intend to do, but from taking action and seeing it through. Are your plans mere words, or do they embody the actions you take each day? Why does protecting your plans strengthen your resolve? By keeping your plans private, you create a protective space where they can mature without interference. This allows you to focus on the steps needed to achieve your goals without being distracted by others' opinions. When your ambitions are not exposed to external judgment, you can pursue them with a clear mind and a steady heart. Stoicism teaches that the value of discretion lies in the power it gives us to act freely and purposefully, guided by our own principles. Moreover, keeping your plans private helps to manage expectations. When others are unaware of your intentions, you are free to adapt and change course without feeling obligated to explain yourself. This flexibility is crucial in a world that is constantly changing, where even the best-laid plans may need to be adjusted. Are you prepared to protect your plans, nurturing them quietly until the time is right to share the results? How does silence create space for genuine progress? In a world that often encourages overexposure, there is a certain power in keeping things to oneself. Silence does not imply secrecy for its own sake. Rather, it creates a fertile ground where your ambitions can grow undisturbed. When you choose not to share every detail of your plans, you allow them to unfold naturally, in their own time, without being shaped by the expectations or judgments of others. The Stoics believed in acting with purpose and intention, letting the results of one's efforts speak for themselves. When you embrace the value of discretion, you follow a path of quiet perseverance, where the true reward lies not in recognition, but in the satisfaction of having lived according to your own values. Guard your plans with care, and let your actions reveal their worth. As we have explored, Stoicism provides valuable guidance on the importance of discretion, humility, and inner strength. The Stoics understood that not everything in life is meant to be shared, and that there is great power in choosing what we reveal and what we keep private. By guarding these 10 aspects of our lives, we cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment, resilience, and authenticity. Now, we invite you to reflect on these Stoic principles and consider how you can apply them in your own life. What areas can you keep private to protect your growth and maintain your inner peace? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's engage in a meaningful discussion. If you found this content valuable, please like the video, subscribe to our channel for more insights on Stoicism, and share this video with others who may benefit from these timeless teachings. Thank you for joining us on this journey towards a more virtuous life. May you continue to live with wisdom, resilience, and tranquility.